Hysteresis is hobbling hope of a return to normal. High-frequency information flows have shortened our collective view of history, a myopia that could condemn us to the secular stagnation that prominent economists have already declared. Households face a potential paradox of thrift. Businesses have similarly retreated into a debilitating prudence. It seems that everyone's looking to someone else to take the first step. Last week, it was the Fed's turn. It turned out to be a highly anticipated non-event in that the world's key short-term interest rate remained static. Is Fed hesitation just another sign of our hysteretic hovering, or is there something more to it? Well, everyone comes by this hesitation honestly. Let's face it, 6+ years is a long time. That's how long it has been since the world economy saw decent growth. It's also how long short-term interest rates have been effectively zero. Not only is the length of time unprecedented, but so is the level of rates. Added to this dual development is a string of other unprecedenteds that the economy has had to deal with, not the least of which is a very close cousin, quantitative easing. Not only is the Fed unwinding from the unknown, it's also unwinding into the unknown. There's no playbook on what follows such extraordinary monetary measures. It's clearly not for the faint of heart. Let's think about 6+ years in common terms. It's actually a good chunk of one's career. Then think of the number of entrants into the labor force over that time who have no experience of anything else. Their frame of reference for decisions and advising is colored very much by the context. They expect low growth. They expect very cheap money. Think also about the rookies in financial markets, managing considerable sums of money with no working experience other than that of the past 6 years. It's more than a little unnerving. The same can be said for young consumers, householders, and so on. Taking all of this into account complicates the Fed's job further. But what's interesting about last week's announcement is that these arguments weren't the showstopper. Messaging has been aimed at these entrenched expectations for months. The warning has been out. Rates will rise, and you need to prepare. Sure, many wonder whether this will kill the economy, but if it's supported by strong actual and potential growth, then what it will really do is prevent the economy from overheating. By and large, there seems to be general acceptance of this. In fact, by the Fed's own admission, current labor market conditions are tightening at a rate that will see real wage gains raise inflation pressures in less than a year. Given that it would take an interest rate change today at least that amount of time to affect the real economy, the Fed is arguably already behind the price pressure curve. So why gamble on a further delay? Fed statements were clear that there was concern about a new round of global weakening and consequent volatility in global financial markets. The Fed's lesser-known unofficial mandate, being mindful of its effects, crippling in certain historical instances on world markets. Its concern seems well placed. There are fears that all is not well in China. Commodity prices have plunged. Emerging market currencies, stock exchanges, and interest rates are gyrating. In such a context, a preemptive Fed move could be a showstopper. But in fact, its stasis ended up disappointing markets, sparking a tailspin. What happened? Fed statements seem to correlate volatility with neo-weakening. But what if volatility is a result of growth? Suppose quantitative easing actually ended up inflating the prices of myriad financial instruments, and growth, read quantitative tightening, is actually the catalyst behind a great unwind. If so, the Fed is waiting for a pre-hike stabilization that simply cannot occur. What's dangerous about its recent statement is that it has created the expectation that stabilization needs to precede a movement. By definition, this could delay action too long. The bottom line, the twist in the Fed's tail highlights its new dilemma. Hiking appropriately ahead of domestic inflation whilst achieving as much global stability as possible. Given the need for imminent action, the decision will be a difficult one. Until next week, I'm Peter Hall.